It's Rob!
Tony!
We're in gaming!
And that's you!
Hello inmates and welcome back to the inn. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshak if you want to call me by my in-game name, and it was pretty exciting news when I woke up this morning to find that Karazhan has finally been announced. I know it was in the air for a while of what it's going to be. It had something to do with Karazhan or magic, or what was the other one? They said something with pandas, but it is Karazhan, as we can see here. Also, on top of this, they've announced a couple new cards that we can expect with this upcoming adventure mode. So with that, we're also going to go into talking about all of these cards, with the first one being a mage spell, which looks very, very promising. For those of you who aren't, or who are new to the inn and aren't familiar with how we do our card reviews, we show all the cards, we talk about the cards, the synergies those cards have, and then my general opinion of the card and if it's going to be, if it's going to see play or not. So, first card we have Firelands Portal. It's a 7-drop, deal 5 damage, summon a random 5-cost minion. So off the bat, this kind of reminds me of the Faceless Summoner, right? Because the Faceless Summoner is a 6-drop, 5/5, summon a random 3-drop minion, but instead this card, the Faceless Summoner, we actually get to develop a creature, right? So this, we're taking away developing the creature to deal damage and then develop like a 5 minion instead of developing 8 mana worth of minion. So I actually like this card a lot. The cost of its 7 mana is a high price to pay, but the fact that you're able to kill a creature and summon a creature in the same turn with 7 mana, I think is pretty cool, because normally to get 5 damage, you're paying anywhere between 3 to 4 mana to do so, which automatically takes this down to 3 to 4 mana from the 7, and then you're getting a 5-cost minion for only 3 or 4 mana remaining that the 5 damage had already, used up. So in essence, this card is very valuable, will do really good in Arena, and I think there's going to be a place for maybe one of these in a mage deck. I don't think 2 is too much, because Flame Strike is in the same, drop ratio as the 7 mana card, but and it also can go face. It just says deal 5 damage, so it's not prone like Firelands, I think that's what it's called, of dealing 8 damage, and it only can go to a creature. This has the ability to go wherever, because it's just deal 5 damage. So I think that's really cool. So yeah, really cool new mage card. Really looking forward to it. As you can see, I'm pretty excited about this expansion. I was looking forward to seeing some diversity to the meta. I know Old Gods brought in a whole bunch of new stuff. Standard mode even brought in even more restrictions on what you can and can't play, which made people making decks to be more innovative because they had to follow these standard rules. And now that we have our first adventure mode after standard mode, our standard format, I think this can be really exciting. So the next card is a Hunter card. It's a 2-drop, 1/1 Death Rattle, summon a 3/2 Big Bad Wolf. So I really don't mind this card, to be honest. For essentially 2 mana, you're getting a 4/3 in stats. It's counted as a beast. It has a death rattle, so it works well with N'Zoth if you're playing N'Zoth Hunter. Unfortunately, though, it dies to Earth Shock with a Shaman, so maybe Silence will become more and more... I know they got rid of Iron Beak, but maybe we'll see some cool Silence cards in this upcoming adventure mode. With everybody playing current death rattles, like I know Bloodhoof has seen a comeback, Sylvanas, and cards like this. Not too much to say about this guy. Instead of it being a big creature that summons a bunch of small creatures, he's just a small creature that summons a bigger creature. So I think it's pretty cool. And I like that it's a beast. Alright, so the next one is a Druid card. It's a 1-drop, 2/2 beast, Enchanted Raven with no ability. So this is not a whole lot to talk about here. As we know, or as not, we don't know, but Blizzard's been pushing the whole beast druid for a long time now, and this kind of even just further goes and builds off that. I think the druid's having a decent, strong early game, like a 2/2 we see here is fair. If it was a 2/3 with no ability, I'd say that's absolutely broken. They made a new zombie chow, but I think a 2/2 for 1 mana, druid's early game again is lacking, but they have Innervate and Wild Growth that they normally play instead that allows them to ramp quicker into their bigger minions, which we know Druid to have, but Enchanted Raven's kind of going in the other direction, so maybe if you're not wanting to play Wild Growth or Innervate, you can play cards like Enchanted Raven that'll kind of fill that slot, which is pretty cool, because right now Innervate and Wild Growth are like a throw into any Druid deck, right? But now that you have another spot in here with a decent creature, I think this might actually replace maybe an Innervate, maybe not Innervate, but maybe a Wild Growth. I don't know, we'll see what happens, but I think this is a pretty cool card, and giving Druids some other options in the beginning of the game is very crucial to the amount of decks you can build with the Druid class. Moving on to the next card, it's a Paladin card, and it is a 6-drop, 4/4 Battlecry, discover a spell, and it says restore health to your hero equal to its cost, and by the cost, it's referring to the spell that you're discovering. So let's say you discover a spell, and the spell's, you get a 1-mana secret, a 4-mana Hammer of Justice, and then you have like an 8-mana Lay on Hands. Obviously, you have the option of how much you basically want to heal that turn based on the discover spells given to you, which I think is really neat. So maybe the 8-mana spell isn't what you can play right now, but you need to get the health. Or maybe the 4-mana spell is better. You obviously don't gain the amount of health, but if you're at full health, then obviously picking the 4 is better. So there's like a lot of different things we can do here. The discover mechanic, and then also the heal, which I think is really cool. But the stats, this card is a 6-mana 4/4, so the stats are suffering here because of the ability to heal and both discover a card. I think it's really cool. I like it. And I like the picture a lot. It's like the chess piece out of the, I remember running the actual dungeon, or I should say the raid, and the chess match was quite difficult for some. Moving to the next card, it's a rogue card, and it's a 5-drop, 5/6 Battlecry. Reduce the cost of the cards in your hand from other classes by 2. And I feel like this would go, this feels like a priest card more than anything, right? Because priests are known to steal everybody else's cards and not actually have any great ones of their own. Not to say that priests are bad, but priests are not doing too hot right now. But definitely it does fit in the rogue class with cards like Burgle, with cards like Undercity Huckster, with things like that floating around. Having other class cards in your hand is a thing, but playing a card that specifically reduces them down when they're in your hand, I don't think that's that great. The stats on this guy, however, are pretty good. I mean, a 5-drop, 5/6, the stats are there. Like, he's got great stats for his cost, and then he also has the ability to go along with it, but also the ability can't be amazing, because if you have an amazing statted creature and an amazing ability, you have a broken card. So I think that this is a cool card. I think that it may have room in some particular decks, but I don't think this is going to be a card that everybody's going to really go after and be like, oh my god, do you have the Peddler in your deck? Unless you're talking about the Warlock Peddler, in which everybody runs that card. All right, so here's another very interesting card. And by the way, guys, I didn't like look at these cards and like come up with summaries on my own. Like, these are basically, I took a look at them, and these is just my first thoughts on the card. Obviously, when the adventure mode comes out and we can actually play with these cards, I'll maybe come out with a more in-depth card review and saying like how the card is actually integrated into the game, and whether it's worth not disenchanting, but whether it's worth getting, the decks that it fits in, the synergies that people have found out, and ways it works really well within certain decks. But as of now, this is all just speculation. I could be wrong, it could be right. Just keep that in mind. This is all opinion-based. Again, due to the fact that I can't play with any of these cards currently. All right, so we have the Curator. I really like the name, really like the picture. 7-drop, 4/6. He's a mech. Mechs may make a return. Taunt, Battlecry. Draw a Beast, Dragon, and Murloc from your deck. All right, new meta, boys. The Beast, Dragon, Murloc decks are coming in the Karazhan expansion. Be ready for this deck, guys. This is the new Tier 1 deck on ladder. This is Legend in 2 days. The Beast, Dragon, Murloc deck. Very, very weird card, you can say. I don't think there's anything I can compare this to. The stats, again, aren't great for it. 7 mana for a 4/6. It's not what you're really looking for. The Taunt is cool, but the Battlecry is, I'm assuming, why you'd want this card. But again, the Dragon, Beast, Murloc. Yeah, maybe we'll have to see what else comes out to combo with this, but currently I'm just not seeing it. And our last card, and I think this is going to be the card that we actually see the most out of the all the cards, besides maybe the Mage card, which has been, the Mage and the Hunter card, I think will be played a decent amount. But this card right here, Barnes, and he's a 4-drop, 3/4 Battlecry. Summon a 1/1 copy of a random minion in your deck. So it seems like there's a lot of like summon a 1/1 random copy. We have the Rogue card, I think it's called Shadowcaster, that makes it kind of like it says copy a friendly minion, make it a 1/1, put it in your hand. You also have the Priest card, the Legendary, who says for every card you have on the field, make another 1/1 copy. So this kind of follows that same sort of route with summon a 1/1 copy of a random minion in your deck. So remember, it's your deck, not your opponent's deck. So if you're running like maybe a Death Rattle deck, And you get to summon maybe a Savannah Highmane, and you know 1/1 Savannah Highmane that turns into 2/2 beasts, that goes into the 2/2 hyenas, or maybe you get Sylvanas, you get Rag. I mean, those are the big exceptions, because those are some of the biggest cards in your deck, and you don't play a ton of them. So let's say it brings out, you know, I don't know, what's a really bad card it could bring out, like I don't even know. A Karen Grub. There you go. I don't know why that card came to mind, but a 1/1 Karen Grub is just a 1/1 creature. But it's still, this card for 4 mana turns into a 4/5. So he's basically a Chill One Yeti with the ability to maybe summon a Death Rattle from your deck that'll give you future value. So I think this card is actually going to be really good. And he's Battle Cry, so he synergizes well with Bran. So I think this guy is actually, I don't want to place too much faith in him because I could be wrong, but I think this is going to be a thing. This is going to be a good card. It's going to be found in a lot of decks, but I could be wrong. Who knows? But I figured this would be the last card we'd talk about before we end this, because there wasn't a whole lot of cards released, guys. This is all we have for now. As more cards get released, I'll try to pump out these videos as soon as possible to you, as I know you guys definitely want to hear about them, see them, and maybe any thoughts we have on them. But I think... yeah, I want to know what you guys think about this card in the comments section below, because this is very interesting, because even if it doesn't grant you anything big, right? Like, even if it's just a standard creature, it's still a Chill One Yeti. And a Chill One Yeti on turn 4 is always going to be powerful. That's a good card. But the ability to even get a Death Rattle, so if you're Infested Wolf, Sylvanas, I'm sure I'm missing a ton of other Death Rattles, but even just cards that, you know, if they're placed next to a Dire Wolf, you know, if it's put next to other minions, it buffs them. So even if it's just the 1/1, it has the ability to maybe have, you know, adjacent creature buffs. It's got Death Rattle abilities. And, you know, when you play N'Zoth, another creature is a Tyrion. Hello? Tyrion. That's big stuff. So Karen turns into a 4/5 after it dies, and it counts as another Death Rattle death for N'Zoth. So I think this is going to be big stuff. I think I've said that too many times. But anyway, really hyped about the new adventure mode. Really excited to make some new decks with these great looking cards so far. And as always, I'm more... I messed that up bad. It's early, guys. As always, I'm Warshak, of course, and happy whatever the hell day it is.